We've got plenty of class tuning changes and so much more this week, but for now, servers are down. My name is Swag, and this is the Vault Day Update. With Race to World First over, Blizzard is starting to roll out some class tuning, and it's pretty heavy. We got a lot going on. Unholy DK is seeing massive buffs come in, upwards of 20% on some of their abilities, but averaging around the 12 to 15% mark. As expected, Havoc Demon Hunters are seeing heavy nerfs this week with 12% damage reductions to Fel Rush, Immolation Aura, and Fel Barrage. Restoration Druids are seeing a 10 to 20% buff in their cat form attacks. I believe this is going to be the return of the classic cat weaving meta for Druids. Devastation Evokers are seeing a 5% buff to all of their damage. Beastmaster Hunters are seeing 30% nerfs to their tier sets. However, I don't believe this will be a huge change for them overall, so they're still going to be in a pretty good spot. Mistweaver Monks are seeing nerfs to multiple abilities, including Manatee and even Upwelling stacks. However, if you're playing Windwalker, you are seeing a 6% buff to all of your damage. Holy Paladin damage abilities, Crusader Strike and Hammer of Wrath now cost less mana and deal more damage. We're actually seeing a lot of healer damage buffs, including Restoration Shamans getting a buff to Acid Rain and Chain Lightning. Even Holy Priests are getting a damage buff to Burning Vehemence, but they're also getting an across-the-board healing increase by 4%. However, Discipline Spec Priests will be getting a damage nerf and a healing nerf of 3%. And speaking of nerfs, the one everybody could have predicted, although it still feels a little small, is Assassination Rogues getting a 15% nerf to Kingsbane, as well as Blindside effect chance being reduced. If you want to read up on those changes for yourself or check out the PvP changes, I will link the Blizzard post down below. The Dragonflight Dungeon event is running this week. If you complete Dragonflight Dungeons, you can get an extra piece of loot at the end of them, as well as picking up the weekly quest to do 4 mythic dungeons for a high quality piece of gear. The Darkmoon Fair is running this week. Just a reminder, you can pick up a 10% buff to all reputation and experience, and this buff does stack with the WoW anniversary buff of 19%. Just keep in mind that the WoW anniversary ends on Thursday, so if you're still trying to grind that Dream Warden rep, maybe push a little harder these next couple days. For our dragon riding enthusiasts, the Outland Cup was announced for January 11th, and along with that, there's some data mining for what's called the Drake Randomizer in patch 10.2.5. This is an item that activates a setting, allowing your dragon to be randomized in appearance every time you summon it. And lastly, this week's affixes are Tyrannical, Storming, and Raging. Storming will spawn tornadoes on the battlefield, sidestep them, and get out of the way, otherwise you'll take damage and be thrown up in the air. And Raging will cause non-boss enemies to, well, enrage when they go below 30% HP, and when they're enraged, they cannot be crowd controlled other than interrupts. But that's everything happening this week in the world of Warcraft. My name is Swag, and I will see you next week.